Now, in today's class, we will be discussing the art and architecture which were belongs to Gupta's time. Okay, so Gupta's age is also called as golden age for the art and architecture. Okay, Gupta's age were also called as golden age for the art and architecture. Why? Because lot of development in art and architecture, especially the temple architecture, sculptures architecture. Okay, and development of caves. Okay, so that is the reason why Gupta age it is called as golden age. Okay, and the art and architecture or sculptures of Gupta age where generally belongs to three religion. Generally belongs to three religion, that is Jainism, Buddhism, okay, then Hinduism. Jainism, Buddhism as well as the Hinduism. Okay, like Mathura School of Art Sculptures. That Mathura Schools of Art Sculpture belongs to three religion. In the same way, the sculptures, the caves, the art and architecture of the art and architecture which belongs to Gupta's age, were having three religious influence. That is Jainism, Buddhism as well as the Hinduism. And in the Hinduism, the sculptures were mainly of three deities. The sculptures were mainly of three deities. Okay, सेंट्रल इंडिया. सर वहां डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है बोल के मैं यहाँ क्लास ले रहा हूँ सर. ये रिकॉर्डिंग चलता है और यूट्यूब में अपलोड होता है. Okay, so the art and architecture of the Guptas, okay, generally influence three religion, that is Jainism, Buddhism and as well as the Hinduism. Okay, in Hinduism the sculptures were mainly found of three deities. Okay, central India it is Vishnu. Central India it is Vishnu. Okay, then South India it is South India, okay, it is Shiva. South India it is a Shiva. Okay, and east part it is a Shakti. Okay, so these were the three main deities of Gupta's age. Okay, sculpture. Central part of the country it was Vishnu. Okay, southern part of the country it was Shiva, and eastern part of the country Shakti. Okay, and these three deity were worshipped. Central part of India Vishnu was worshipped. Southern part of India Shiva was worshipped. Eastern part of India and in Kerala also Shakti was worshipped. Okay, so these were the three main deities of Hinduism during Gupta's age, and most of the sculptures of the Gupta's age, okay, in Hinduism belongs to these three deities only. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Then next, Gupta's art and architecture. Okay, so when we talk about the architecture of the Gupta's age, caves, sculptures, stupas, okay, all were continued during Gupta's time also. Even the what do you call it, temples architecture was also continued even in Gupta's age. Okay, but in Gupta's age, development was more. Okay, and the art and architecture it's reached to its peak level or reached to its zenith level in Gupta's age. Okay. Then cave. How was the caves during the Gupta's age? Okay. So caves, the basic features of the caves was remain constant. Okay. Yeah. In Ashoka, in Mauryan's art and architecture, we have studied right how the caves was rectangular hall. Then one circular chamber will be there. Rock cut caves was there, right? Decorated with the sculptures at the gate. Right, rock cut caves we already discussed. So same rock cut caves were continued even in Gupta's time also. But Gupta introduced one more feature in this rock cut cave. What is that? They have, introduced the mural painting on the walls of the caves. Okay, so they have added one more feature in the architecture style of rock cut cave, that is mural paintings. Okay, so mural paintings. What are mural paintings? Actually, Paintings are of two types, mural and miniature. Paintings are of two types. One is mural and one is miniature. Miniature, it is a small painting which are painted on a paper or a piece of cloth. But mural paintings are very big painting which are painted on the walls of the palaces, walls, temple walls, okay, walls of any big structure. Understood? So this introduction of the mural painting on the cave walls was sorry, what do you call this one? The mural paintings on the wall. Okay, it was started during the Gupta's age. Prominent example of this mural paintings on the rock cut caves was Ajanta cave and Ellora caves. Ajanta cave as well as Ellora cave. Okay, so for UPSC point of view, Ajanta cave and Ellora cave are very important. We must know how many caves are there in Ajanta cave and Ellora caves. Okay, and these caves are belongs to which religions? That is also very important for us. Okay, so for cave architecture, what they have added during Gupta's period, mural paintings on the wall. Okay, that is the unique feature or distinct feature which were added during Gupta's time in rock cut caves. Okay, example of this mural paintings on the rock cut cave was Ajanta and Ellora caves. So Ajanta caves. So where is the location of the Ajanta cave? It is located in the Aurangabad district. Okay, Ajanta caves are located in the Aurangabad district of Maharashtra state. Okay, and Ajanta cave, it is also a World Heritage Site. Ajanta cave, it is also a World Heritage Site. Okay, how many caves are there in Ajanta cave? 29 caves are there. Total 29 caves are there in Ajanta caves. Okay, out of this 29 cave, 25 caves are viharas. 25 caves are viharas. What are viharas? Students,
Monasteries.
monasteries, right? So Ajanta cave, we are having total 29 caves. So out of this total 29 caves, 29 caves are the viharas. Okay, and rest 4 caves are chaityas or prayer hall. Okay, and this, Ajanta caves, most of the Ajanta caves were having what do you call Buddhist influence. Most of the Ajanta caves, okay, they are having Buddhist influence. Okay, and apart from that, who inscribed these caves? Who inscribes these caves? Buddhist monks. It was the Buddhist monks who inscribed these caves, and this caves was constructed. This caves was constructed during the Vakataka king Harisena. This caves was constructed, okay, during the Vakataka king Harisena. Very important. Okay, during whose period Ajanta cave was constructed? That was Vakataka king Harisena. Understood, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then figures in these caves, whatever the figures are there, right? In these caves or the paintings, whatever the figures which are present in these paintings or whatever the figures which are present in these caves, those figures were made. Those figures were made by using the fresco painting technique. Very important. Okay, fresco painting technique. So what is that painting technique? Listen, painting generally there are two types: mural painting, okay, and miniature painting. Mural painting and miniature painting. Miniature painting are very small. It will be painted on a paper or a piece of cloth. Mural painting are very big painting which are painted on the walls of the temple, walls of any big structure, or walls of the caves. Right. So those big paintings which are painted on wall, that those paintings are called mural painting. Okay. Mural painting also divided into two types. One is called fresco painting and another it is called tempera. Okay, mural painting is also two types or two techniques used to paint the mural paintings. Okay, one technique it is called fresco, another technique it is called tempera. Okay, so what is that fresco painting technique used in this? paintings, wall paintings of Ajanta caves. Very, very important. This fresco painting technique is very important. First of all, clay. Clay is there, right? Wet clay. Wet clay. Wet clay will be mixed with the cow dung. Wet clay will be mixed with the cow dung. Okay, and rice husk. Wet clay will be mixed with the cow dung as well as the rice husk. Okay, then this mixture will apply to the wall. The mixture of wet clay, cow dung, and rice husk will apply to the wall. Okay, then plaster will be applied. Plaster will be coated on this mixture. Okay, plaster, white lime is there, that will be coated. Okay, so background of the painting appeared, right? Then that when that this mixture is dry, at that time only they will painted the structures or images with the colors, structures or images with the color when the background is wet only. That style of this technique, it is called fresco technique. This technique, it is called fresco technique. In tempera technique, okay, once the mixture of wet clay, cow dung, and rice husk apply, okay, then it will let it dry. Then once it is dry, then white limestone will be applied. Then white limestone will be let it dry. Then once this white limestone are also dried, then they will draw the images or they'll paint the images. Okay, but in tempera technique, tempera techniques, it is a dry technique. Fresco technique, it is a wet technique. Now understood all of you what is meant by fresco
Yes, sir.
technique and what is meant by tempera technique. Very important. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so figures, okay, which were present in the Ajanta caves were okay, made using fresco painting techniques. Okay, and the colors which were used in this Ajanta wall paintings, those colors were derived or obtained from natural vegetations and minerals. No chemical colors were used. All natural colors were used. Okay, the colors which were used in the Ajanta wall paintings were derived from vegetation. Natural vegetation means plants, okay, trees. From that they have drawn the extracted the color and some minerals also. From some minerals also they have extracted the color. Okay, and the paintings outline will be the red border of the painting, right? Outline is there, right? Outline was painted in the red color. Outline of the painting, it was painted in the red color, and inside that paintings are there, right? Inside this border, this was painted in the different colors, different colors. But one more thing we need to remember here. Okay, almost every color used in the Ajanta caves painting except one blue. Blue color was absent in the Ajanta cave paintings. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And example of this painting is in cave number 16, prelims exam question. Cave number 16, prelims exam question. In this cave number 16, there is a one, famous painting, Dying Princess. Famous painting, Dying Princess. Here you can see. This is the painting of the Dying Princess. And you see, this is a wall painting. Painted on a wall, okay, by using the fresco style technique. Okay,
Yes, sir.
students understood. And what were the theme of these paintings? So the theme of this painting is in and around Buddha and Buddhism, or in short we can say the paintings on the walls of the Ajanta caves are belongs to only one religion, that is Buddhism. Only one religion, that is Buddhism. Okay, and what were the theme of these paintings, the life event of the Buddha, life event of the Buddha, okay, and the events issue associated to Buddha, symbolic images associated to Buddha, like horse, like Bodhi tree, Dharma chakra, okay, and what do you call, like lotus footprint of Buddha, those were painted. Apart from that, Jataka stories were also painted on this walls of the Ajanta caves. Understood, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then total how many caves are there? 29 caves. Right. Out of 29, 25 are viharas, 4 are chaitras. Chaitras. Right. And apart from that, out of these 29 caves, that whole 29 caves belongs to Buddhism. Right. So out of these 29 caves, 5 caves were developed during Hinayana Buddhism. 5 caves were developed during Hinayana Buddhism and 24 caves were developed during Mahayana Buddhism. Okay. 5 caves were developed during the Hinayana Buddhism and 24 caves were developed during the Mahayana Buddhism. Understood? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And foreign travelers also mentioned about the Ajanta caves and the paintings, wall paintings of the Ajanta cave. Foreign Chinese travelers like Fahin and Huatsang who visited India, right? Fahin visited India during Chandragupta two time. Huatsang visited India during what do you call Harshavardhan time. Both, okay, in their book they have mentioned about the paintings of Ajanta caves. Okay, apart from paintings, this Ajanta caves were also having sculptures. Ajanta caves, okay, was also having sculptures. So example of sculptures, cave number 26, Mahaparinirvana. See, here you can see. This is this is cave number 26. There we can see the sculpture of Mahaparinirvana. Right? You know the event of Mahaparinirvana, right? Mahaparinirvana. That means ending of the life of the Buddha. Okay. So that event, death of the Buddha, it is called Mahaparinirvana. So that depicted in the sculpture form in caves of Ajanta. Can you see, students? Right.
Yes,
Ajanta
sir.
caves not only present the paintings, it also present the sculptures. Okay. Prominent sculptures which are present in Ajanta caves are, you know, Mahaparinirvana Buddha in cave number 26, and this is okay. Naga King, cave number. This is Naga King present in cave number 19. Naga King present in cave number 19. Okay, so these are an example of sculptures which are okay found in Ajanta caves. Okay, then after Ajanta
The
caves,
previous slide, sir.
uh, this one,
Oh, sir.
this one.
Previous. Ah, sir.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Then Ellora caves. Ellora caves. Where these caves are located? Same. Ellora caves are located in Aurangabad district of Maharashtra. Aurangabad district of Maharashtra. Okay, so Ellora cave is near to the Ajanta caves only. Okay, and Ellora cave consists 34 caves. How many caves? 34 caves. Ajanta consists 29, and that all the caves of Ajanta are belongs to Buddhism, right? Belongs to Buddhism. But here Ellora cave consists total 34 caves. Out of these 34, 17 caves belongs to Hinduism, 12 caves belongs to Buddhism, and 5 caves belongs to Jainism. Okay, so in short, Ellora caves were belongs to three major religion of that time. That is Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Okay, and this Ellora caves were developed between 5th to 11th century. Ellora caves were developed during 5th to 11th century. So Ellora caves are new when compared to the Ajanta caves, right? Ellora caves are new when compared to the Ajanta caves, or Ajanta caves are old when compared to the Ellora caves. Got it? Ajanta caves developed till 5th century, and Ellora caves were developed till 11th century. Okay. And who were the sculptures? From where the sculptures okay came to Ellora, and they have constructed these Ellora caves. The sculptures from various part of the country: Vidarbha region, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Okay, so these caves were constructed by the guilds from Vidarbha, okay, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. That is the reason why these Ellora caves are having diversity in themes as well as the architecture style. Okay, some of the caves are having south architecture style, some of the caves are having, central architecture style and theme also. Reason because the, you know, architectures who were constructed these caves were belongs to different part of the country. That is the reason why these caves are having diversity in themes as well as the diversity in architectural style. Okay, so understood all of you? Ellora caves. Total how many caves are there? 34 caves. Out of these
34.
34 caves, 17 belongs to Hinduism, 12 belongs to Buddhist, 5 belongs to Jainism. And these caves were developed during between 5th century AD to 11th century AD. Okay. And these caves were developed by the guilds from different part of the countries like Vidarbha, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. That is the reason why these caves are having diversity in themes as well as architecture style. Okay, then Buddhist. Cave from 1 to 12, they belongs to Buddhist religion. Cave number 1 to 12, okay, this caves where belongs to Buddhist religion. Cave 13 to 29. Cave 13 to 29 belongs to Hindu religion. And cave 30 to 34, 5 caves. Cave 30 to 34, okay, belongs to Jainism. In Jainism also this 5 caves where belongs to Digambar. In Jainism also we have two sects, Shwetambar and Digambar. Shwetambar and Digambar. So the caves, Ellora caves, cave number 30 to 34, where belongs to the Digambar sect of Jainism. Okay, and the Hindu caves and Buddhist caves were constructed, okay, during Rashtrakuta's time. Hindu caves and Buddhist caves, or the caves which were belongs to Hinduism and Buddhism, were constructed or developed during the Rashtrakuta's time. Okay, and Jain's caves were developed during the Yadava's time, Yadava dynasty time. Okay, understood all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 to 12 cave belongs to Buddhist. 13 to 29 cave number cave belongs to Hinduism. 30 to 34 caves belongs to Jainism. In Jainism also this cave belongs to Digambar sect of the Jainism. Hindu and Buddhist caves were developed during Rashtrakuta's time. Okay, and Jain caves were developed during the Yadavas dynasty time. Okay, and the example of Ellora caves. Famous caves of Ellora. Famous caves of Ellora. Okay, so cave number 10. Cave number 10, that is belongs to Buddhism religion. Okay, cave number 10, it is a Buddhist Chaitya. Chaitya? Chaitya is a prayer hall, right? So cave number 10 it is a Buddhist Chaitya. And this cave number 10 is also known as Vishwakarma cave or carpenter cave. You know, right? Vishwakarma is a carpenter god. In Hinduism, he is a carpenter god or architecture god, right? So this cave number 10 is also known as Vishwakarma cave or the carpenter cave. Okay. So in this cave, Buddha, okay, Buddha was seated in the Dharmachakra mudra. Buddha was seated in the Dharmachakra, okay, mudra. And back of the Buddha, Bodhi tree was carved. Back of the Buddha, Bodhi tree was carved like this. You can see. If you say now, Buddha is sitting like this in a position, okay, like this, okay. And in the back of the Buddha, Bodhi tree was there. Back of the Buddha, Bodhi tree was there. Okay. So that were present in cave number 10. Okay. And this cave number 10 is also known as Vishwakarma cave or carpenter cave. Then cave number 14. It is also that cave number 14 is known as Ravan ki Khai. Is there? No. Okay. Cave number 15, Dashavtar temple. Cave number 15, it is a Dashavtar temple. Cave number 16,
Sir,
which
please,
is
sir.
very, very important.
Sir, previous slide,
Bapu,
sir.
this one. Cave number 10, Buddhist. 14, it is Ravan ki Khai. 15, it is Dashavtar temple. Dashavtar of Vishnu temple, that is cave number 15. Done, Bapu?
Sir, done, sir.
Okay, then cave number 16, which is very important. Cave number 16, it is a Kailash temple, which is dedicated to the Hindu god Lord Shiva. Okay, so regarding Kailash temple, I will discuss later. Okay, cave number 29, that is Dhumar Vena. Cave number 21, Rameshwar Vena. Cave number 29, Dhumar Vena. Cave number 21, Rameshwar Vena. Okay, and two very famous caves of Jainism, that is Indra Sabha and Jagannath Sabha. Indra Sabha and Jagannath Sabha. Indra Sabha, it was cave number 32, and Jagannath Sabha, it is cave number 33. Okay, so these were the very famous caves which were present in Ellora caves. Understood, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we'll discuss in detail Kailashnath temple.
Sir,
Tell me, Bapu.
sir, previous, sir.
Okay, write down.
Okay, sir.
Completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then Kailashnath temple. Kailashnath temple, it is considered as a marvelous architecture, okay, of India. And this whole temple, it is carved out in a single monolith rock. You can see. This is Kailash temple. Okay. So this Kailash temple, it is carved out in a single rock. One single big piece of rock was there. Okay, from that, this temple was carved out. Okay, and this temple was constructed from top to bottom, not from bottom to top. Normally, how the temples were constructed from bottom to the top like this, right? But this temple was carved out in a single monolith rock from top to bottom. From top to bottom. Okay. And this Kailashnath temple, it is present in the cave number 16 of Ellora. This Kailashnath temple, okay, it is present in the cave number 16 of Ellora caves. Okay, So one big rock was there which is 200 feet long and 100 feet UK width and height. So the Kailasa temple were carved out from this big massive block of rock. Okay, and this temple consists four part. This temple consists four part. What is that? Main shrine. Main shrine. Okay, shrine of the Lord Shiva. Then entrance gateway, Mantapa. Then shrine for the Nandi and other Mantapa for the which are surrounding the temple. We can see here. Can you see? This is the main shrine, right? This is the gateway. This is the here. This one is the Nandi shrine. This is Shiva main shrine. This is Nandi shrine. Okay. This is what do you call Mantapa, and this is a gateway. This is a gateway. Okay. So this mandir, Kailasnath temple, has divided into four part. Main shrine, okay, and shrine for Nandi, Mantapa or Mandapa, and what do you call entrance gateway. Okay. And this temple, it is standing on the 20 feet high pillars. Pillars will be there, na, like this. Plinth. Plinth will be there, na, pillars like this. Okay, pillars. So this, the height of these pillars on which this temple was stand, that was 25 feet. Sorry, that is 25 feet. Okay. Then the central face of the plinth was imposing a figure of elephant and lion. Okay. So what is that? These pillars are there, right? On these pillars only, elephant and lions were engraved. Elephant and lions were engraved, so that it is depicted like that. The entire temple. Okay, the entire temple it is rest on the this two animal, that is elephant and lion. Okay, students, are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then we'll talk about the shikhara or tower. Tower. So this temple is having three shikhara, triple layer shikhara. This one is layer, this is another layer, and this is another layer. Three layer of shikhara are there. This one, and this one. Three layer of shikhara are present in this temple. So this three layer of shikhar we can find even in the Mamallapuram Rathas also. This we will discuss during Chola's architecture. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sorry, Pallavas temple architecture. At that time we will discuss Mamallapuram Rathas. Okay, but till now, just for now, remember that this Kailashnath temple having a three-tier shikhara, and this three-tier shikhara is influenced from the Mamallapuram Rathas. This Mamallapuram Rathas were constructed during Pallava's time in South India. Okay, and the interior of the temple means inside the temple, pillar hall are there. Hall will be there, na? Mandap. In South India, it is called mandapa. So that hall is there, na? So that hall, it is supported by the pillar. That is, hall is supported by the pillar. How many? 16 square pillars were there, like this. Like, so that here, it will be constructed like this. Might be seen in temple also, na? In temple also might be have seen pillars will be there like this. Right? Can you able to see, right? So on this pillar, this hall will be constructed. Right? So this temple consists 16 square pillar in a hall. Understood? And the sculptures which are present in the temple are Goddess Durga. Goddess Durga, okay, who is slaying the buffalo demon. Goddess Durga, okay, slaying the buffalo demon. So that sculptures were present. Apart from that, another sculptures which were present in this, what do you call, temple was Ravan, who is trying to lift the Mount Kailasha. the home of Shiva. Here, this one. Can you see? This is, Mount Kailasha. And here the Shiva and Shiva family. This is the Shiva and Shiva family, and this is the Mount Kailasha. And this is Ravan, who is trying to lift the Mount Kailash. Okay, so these sculptures was found in Kailash Nath temple. Okay, apart from that, scenes of Ramayana, scenes of Ramayana, okay, were depicted in the walls. Okay, in the walls of this Kailashnath temple, we can see the scenes from the Ramayana. Okay, and the temple architecture of the Kailashnath temple is okay similar to the Dravidian style of temple architecture. Okay, where these caves are located? These Bagh caves are located in the Bhagini rivers in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, the Bhagini river in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so total 9 caves are present. In Bagh caves, the number of caves are 9. And all these 9 caves here belongs to Buddhism. All these 9 caves here belongs to Buddhism. And these caves were developed during 5th to 6th century AD. Okay, these Bagh caves were developed during 5th to 6th century AD. And the architecture, the style of architecture of these caves are similar to Ajanta caves. Similar to Ajanta caves. Paintings, sculptures we discussed right in Ajanta caves. Same thing present in this Bagh caves. Okay. And the most important caves of Bagh caves are Rang Mahal. Rang Mahal is the most important caves of Bagh caves. Okay. And in Bagh caves, the paintings are more materialistic rather than spiritualistic. Okay. In Ajanta caves, in Ellora caves, paintings were more spiritual. God painting, goddess painting, certain deities paintings, right? That were there. But paintings of the Bagh caves are materialistic in nature. That means, human being, nature, okay, flora and fauna. Those paintings were present in Bagh caves. Got it?
Yes, sir.
The next, Junagadh caves. Junagadh caves. Junagadh caves are located in the Junagadh district of Gujarat. Okay. So in Gujarat, there is a one district, Junagadh district. Okay. There Junagadh caves are located. Okay. Junagadh caves are located. And Junagadh caves are they present in 3 different locations. Junagadh caves are okay present in 3 different locations. One is Khapra, Khapra Khodia, Baba Pyare, and Uparkot. Khapra Khodia, Baba Pyare, Uparkot. These are the name of the sites where we can find the Junagadh caves. Okay, in Junagadh district of Gujarat, we can find the Junagadh caves. And Junagadh caves we can find in 3 places: Khapra Khodia, okay, Baba Pyare, and Uparkot. Out of this 3 sites, Uparkot caves are very famous. Uparkot caves are very famous. Okay. It is famous for what? It is famous for citadel. It is famous for citadel. High raised platform is there, na? We discussed what is citadel during Harappan's times, right? So
Yes,
this
sir.
high
Yes,
raised
sir.
platform we can see in Uparkot Junagadh caves. That is a distinct feature of Junagadh caves. Okay. Understood all of you? How was the Ajanta cave, Ellora cave, Bagh cave, Junagadh cave, then Mandapeshwar caves. Mandapeshwar caves. Where these caves are located, Mandapeshwar caves are located in Borivali. Borivali, it is a suburban region of Mumbai. Borivali, it is a suburban okay, place in Mumbai or near to Mumbai. Their caves are located. And the caves, okay, are called Mandapeshwar caves. So initially, these caves were developed during the late Gupta's period. Okay, this initially that caves was developed during the late Gupta's period, and initially those caves were belongs to the Hinduism. This caves were belongs to Hinduism. However, later in modern times, 17th or 18th century, caves were converted to Christian caves. Earlier, Mandapeshwar caves were Hindu caves, but later those caves were converted into Christians. Okay, but still in these caves we can find the sculptures of Nataraj, okay, Sadashiva, and the Ardhanareshwar. Okay, in the Mantapeshwara cave, still we can find the sculptures of Nataraj, Sadashiva, and Ardhanareshwar. Okay, at present this cave consists the church and graveyard. Okay, the church and graveyard is also present in Mandapeshwara caves. Then Udaygiri caves. Please
Sir.
remember, these Udaygiri caves are different from the Udaygiri and Khandargiri caves of Bhubaneswar.
Sir,
Okay,
previous slide, sir.
okay. Mandapeshwar caves. First it was Hindu cave, later it is converted to Christians. And the sculptures which are found in these caves are Shiva, okay, Sadashiva, Nataraja, Ardhanareshwar. And this cave also consists church as well as the graveyard. Then Bapu,
Sir.
okay. Then Udaygiri cave. Okay. Please remember, we have different Udaygiri and Khandargiri caves in Bhubaneswar that were developed during Mauryan's time. During Mauryan's time. But these Udaygiri caves, which are located in the Madhya Pradesh, were developed, okay, during Gupta's time. Okay, this Udaygiri caves are located in the Vidisha district of Madhya Pradesh. Vidisha district of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, Udaygiri caves. These caves are different from the Udaygiri and Khandargiri caves. Udaygiri, Khandargiri caves located in the Bhubaneswar, and this Udaygiri, only Udaygiri caves are located in the Vidisha district of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, and these caves were developed, okay, under the reign of Chandragupta II. Chandragupta II. Okay, and this cave is famous for having numerous sculptures. Numerous sculptures. The sculptures of Varaha Avatar. You know Varaha Avatar of Vishnu. So that sculpture we can see here. This is Varaha Avatar. This is the Varaha Avatar of Vishnu sculptures, which is present in this cave. Okay. Earlier they asked question in prelims exam about this Varaha sculpture. So this Varaha sculpture of Vishnu, or Varaha incarnation of Vishnu sculpture, it is present in the Udaygiri caves. Okay, and this cave is dedicated to the Lord Shiva, Narasimha. Narasimha, you know, Narasimha is also one of the incarnation of the Lord Vishnu. Narasimha Avatara. Okay, half lion and half man avatar, that is called Narasimha Avatara. Narasimha Avatar. Okay, that sculptures were also found here. Skanda sculpture were also found. Apart from that, Narayana sculpture, Vishnu. Narayana is there, right? Who is rest in position, sleeping on the and put his head on his right hand, right? Might be have seen in the photos, images, right? So that position. So Vishnu is in the resting position. That sculpture were also found in this Udaygiri caves.